Hey, so on to question 7. Now this is flowcharts and trace tables. Okay, so trace tables usually come up at least once in the exams. And they're reasonably easy marks. This one's a bit trickier, I'd say, than your average one. But the secret to them is to not freak out. So when you see this, you go, okay, you don't guess, you don't try and see the whole picture, just work as if you are a computer. Work as if you are the CPU and just follow the instructions exactly as they are given, step by step. Don't try too hard to look ahead or guess what the answer might be. In fact, they sometimes could possibly even give you one that's deliberately broken for the situation in order to test you. They might ask you to fix the correction after, something like this, but just go step by step, whether it's pseudocode or whether it is a flowchart. Okay, so what we have to have is we have to make this table and draw it out like this. So this one is starting with some data inside of it. Okay, so I just made a version of that over here on my question paper. Okay, so this one, it doesn't give me any values, but often you'll be given a list of values to go with it. And basically you have to use one for each of the inputs. Now this time we don't have any inputs, which is a bit unusual, but in some ways that could be quite nice. Okay, so again, we just go to the beginning and we go step by step. So first of all, flag equals 0, count equals 1. Now, where people often get annoyed and confused about these things is they're not sure which place to put them in. So generally speaking, and again this is very generally speaking, each loop you're going to start a new line. Okay, so it's not a hard and fast rule, but let's try it that way. So we're going to have flag is set to 0 and count is set to 1. Okay, so let's stick that in a new line. So 0 and 1. So flag is 0, count is 1. Flag is 0, count is 1. Okay, is the name at position count greater than the name at count plus 1? Now, quite a few students freaked out at this point because they were able to go to name at count. So name at count is 1, which is Jamal. And then name at count plus 1 is Amir. Now, this was where people went, huh? That's not fair. These are letters. How can one be greater or less than the other? Well, that's because it's done in terms of alphabetical order. Now, I think in fairness, I think the question should have made that clear because it might not work in every language. You can just compare two names together, but it is what it is. So, first of all, is the name count greater than name count plus 1? So, is J further up the alphabet than A? So, the answer to that is yes. So, we go this way. So, temp becomes equal to the name at count. So, name 1. So, temp becomes equal to Jamal. Name count becomes equal to name count plus 1. So Jamal, or name count, which is name 1, becomes equal to Amir. Name count plus 1 becomes equal to the temp. Well, that's going to be Jamal. Flag is set to 1. Okay, flag is set to 1. Now I can do that in the same lines. Maybe I should have put my 0 and 1 here. So like I said, it gets confusing. Okay, so I can have 1, 1. And yay. And then count equals count plus 1. Maybe I'm gonna, sorry, maybe I'm messing this up. Let's start with the way I thought I was gonna do it. And if I don't like it, then I'll have to redraw. Okay, so flag is equal to 1, count is equal to count plus 1, which is 2. Okay, is the count equal to 4? No, it is not. Okay, so therefore, we go back up to here. Okay, is name count equal to name count plus 1? Haven't we just done that? We have, but our count has changed. So name count is name 2, which is Jamal, and this time we're comparing it to Eve. So A, B, C, D, E, so Jamal is greater than name count plus 1. So again, we just go through the same process. Temp equals name count, so temp equals Jamal, not changed. Name count equals name count plus 1. So Jamal here becomes equal to Eve. Name count plus 1 becomes equal to temp, which is Jamal. Oops. Which is Jamal. Now, it didn't change, but it did write to that area, so let's write it down just to be clear. And we finish that bit. Flag is 1, so the flag is set to 1. Count goes up to 3, and then we can go on from there. Okay, so count 3. So now we're comparing Jamal. It's one of my students, I've just messed up the names. Jamal and Tara. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, P, R, S, T. Okay, so Jamal this time is not bigger than Tara. So we go to no, which means we just go on to the count equals count plus 1. So nothing's changed except we moved the count up to be 4. Okay. Is the count 4? Yes, it is. So, is the flag 0? No, the flag is currently 1. So what do? We follow the no route, which means we're going back to here again, and we're going to set our flags to 0 and 1 once again. It's going to be 0 and 1. Okay. Let's see. So once again, we are going to take the name at position count, which is currently Amir. Is Amir greater than Eve? Okay, so that's count plus 1. No, it isn't. So we add 1 to the count and check if it's 4. So we add 1 to count, which is 2. Is it 4? No, it's not. So we keep going. Is name 2, Eve, bigger than Jamal? No, it's not. So we add 1 to the count. Is the flag 0? Is the count 4? Nope. So we go back again. So 3. So is Jamal bigger than Tara? And again, we compared that last time around, so we know that it's not. So the count goes up to 4. I need to insert some rows below. There we go. Okay, so the count goes up to 4, which means we stop we come down to this one. Is the flag 0? Yes. Well then, that means, I don't need to add those lines, that means we've got to the end of our program. Okay, so, now you notice, you don't have to, but I would suggest at the end, you maybe want to just fill in that last line with the current values that are in there. So really you only need to update them if there is some change. If there's not been a change, then you probably don't need to update them. Okay, so our final line is 04 Amir, Eve, Jammed, and Tara. Okay, so let's look. What did that do? So if we do A as Amir, good. A, B, C, D, E is Eve. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T. So what has it done? It has sorted the names into order. Okay, so it's done what we call a bubble sort. Now, hopefully, if you're used to bubble sorts, you should be able to follow along with them. So to describe what the algorithm represented by the flowchart is doing. So our answer to B is going to be, bubble sort, sorting the names in alphabetical order from A to Z. Or A to Z, depending on. Can't remember from British or American anymore. I've given up. Been abroad too long. All right. So hopefully that's done it. Now let's see how that looks in the marking scheme, because I feel like sometimes knowing which location to put stuff in is where it gets confusing. And I just want to show you that we could get the marks either way, really. All right. So let's find the marking scheme. Okay. Okay, so generally when they're marking these, they're going to mark it based off of the columns. Okay, so they're going to check the column. So actually you'll notice it doesn't really matter where you put stuff, because the columns will still, as long as you're following a reasonable system, the columns are going to end up in the correct thing. Now note here, repeated values do not need to be written unless it is rewritten. That's just saying you only need to do the updates if something has changed. So these are still correct, even though I've not specifically put in the details inside of them. Okay, so let's check. So the flag is 01110000. So let's see, what does it say? 01110000. Count should go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tick, tick. Jamal, and then Amir the rest of the time. Jamal, and then Amir the rest of the time. And then this one should be Amir, Jamal, Eve. Amir, Jamal, Eve. Okay, so I mean you can check it out and see the rest of it, but you can see here that we've managed to get all 5 of the marks, and it's right here. It says we're doing a bubble sort, sorting the names from lowest to highest or alphabetical order, depending on how you want to write them. Okay, so it's quite a difficult trace table, not necessarily to follow, but just that A to Z thing. From what I've seen, has thrown a lot of people off in general. Okay, so just watch out for that.